All right, guys, welcome back to Always Moving Forward. Again, we have had such an awesome week. Ashley Betcher released her interview on her social medias this week, so we've been seeing like a lot of traffic coming in from her audience. So we've been really excited about that. It's just been a great. Today was just been a great day. It's been a great week, and then to keep it moving along, we have my next guest, which I've been really looking forward to bringing on as well. This is a an actor. He's got some really good projects coming up that we're really interested in talking to him about. But most importantly, on this show, we really love to get to know these guys, more on a personal level and hear about their journeys. So I'm really excited about bringing on my next guest, Michael Ocho. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him in. How's it going, brother?
How you doing?
It's going good, man.
Good to be on the show. It feels good. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being on the show. Christy Roberts, he's one of the first actors that we actually interviewed for the show. Every so often, Robert hits me up. He's like, "Hey, look, I need you to get this guy on the show or get this person on the show." And he talks, highly about these, some of the people I've had, and he's like, "Listen, you got to get Michael Ocho on your show, Hollywood Ocho."
Hollywood Ocho.
So
Um,
I reached out and I'm pretty excited about having you on and talking to you and get to know your journey and just learning more about you and what you're working on. So we'll go ahead and just jump into it. So let's talk about kind of where you were born and raised and what was life like growing up for you.
First of all, before I start, I want to give Chris a big shout out. We worked together on the Mexican Connection, and he's an awesome guy.
Yeah,
Um,
we love Chris over here.
yeah. Second
Yeah.
of all, so my story starts off. I was born in Tucson, Arizona,
Okay.
and I was raised in San Bernardino, California. Um, my story. I speak all over the country. I do motivational speaking all over the country for at-risk youth, prison and prisoners and schools and churches, because I come from a very bad background. um, I didn't have my father involved in my life, and I grew up with a lot of hate and anger, and so I turned to what I felt was was my true family, who I felt showed me more love, which was the gang life. So I turned to gang life. I sell drugs. I was arrested my first time when I was in the seventh grade. Spent a lot of my teenage years in juvie, and just getting in trouble, in and out of trouble. Um, like I said, I had a lot of anger because growing up, my father chose drinking, drugs, and women over me and my sister. So I just grew up with that hate and that anger, and I felt like if I could be better than him, if I could be harder and tougher than him, maybe he would love me. So I took the wrong path in life. Is I think what you're asking with San Bernardino in California. Um, I ended up going from juvie to prison, graduating from the small time to the big time, and ended up doing a lot of horrible stuff to survive in there. I joined prison gang, and I rose up the ranks because I did whatever they asked, and I am ashamed to say I did stuff that most people would say I should be locked up for the rest of my life, or either paying heavy consequences for. And I was just a horrible person. If you met me back in the day, it
Right.
was not a good thing, because that means I was either going to hurt you, um, or hurt someone you loved because you owed me money.
Wow.
And it just, my life was really dark. I had a dark heart. I had no love or sympathy for anybody. In fact, I felt when people were begging for mercy or crying for mercy, I felt empowered. I felt
Wow.
respected,
Right.
and it was just a bad dark thing over my head. And a lot of people, when they give their testimony, they say, I hated the way I used to be
Right.
at that time, but I can honestly say I loved it back in the day.
Wow.
I thought that respect, that fear was actually a form of love, and I had a twisted view of love.
Right. So when do you remember how old you were when your father left?
2 years old.
2 years old. Wow.
I was 2 years old. Just never was around. Always promised to come to birthday parties, school events, sporting events for me and my sister. There's pictures of when we were younger, waiting for him at the window, and he never showed up. I
Wow.
remember one summer, me and my sister collecting aluminum cans all summer long, to buy him a birthday present.
Wow.
And we took it, and he was partying with his friends, and he took the present and threw it in the street and
Wow.
said that why were we always bugging him?
Wow. Yeah. That's got to be tough as a little kid
Yeah.
to watch. So um now as this goes on, you just think that anger was just just pent up and just kept building and building until
Yeah.
kind of left
I
you.
got in school. All throughout school, I was always in fights. I was always the bully. I was always the person always getting in trouble. Um, Gang life, I thought was family, respect. But in fact, now that I know, they're in fact using you. They're in fact for their own benefit. But back then, I thought it was something different.
Right. So when did you get to that to the point where um you started I guess wanting to make a change, or can you remember
Yeah.
that point from where you went from that person to the person you are now?
Yeah. So basically, I got out of prison, and I didn't change. I was in fact a better criminal. A
Mm.
lot of time they say it's rehabilitation in prison,
Right.
um, but in fact it makes you a better criminal. They separate you by race, so I came out a racist. I didn't like black people. I didn't like white people.
Right.
Um, I was just a totally bigoted, awful person. I still continued selling drugs. Um, I was an enforcer, so if you owed the drug man money and I came to your door, that was a bad thing, because I was going to find out where your father, your mother lived, your kids lived, and I was going to do them harm if you didn't pay. Um, so I did this for many years, and I thrived in it. And one day, I'm just going to say I got tired of it. I got tired of the life. I got tired of I was a heroin addict too. I was a drug addict, a heroin addict, and I just got tired of waking up and doing the same thing over and over again, like Groundhog Day. Um, and I had become the person I hated the most. My father, who had left me and my sister, I was the same way with my son, choosing partying, drinking, and women over my son. So I just had enough of it. One day, my son invited me to a school event that was going on, some rodeo event at his school, and he was pointing out the little girl, his friend, Mariah, and telling me, "Dad, that's my friend." I wasn't looking at his little friend. I was actually looking at his friend's mother, and I was like, "She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." Um, I want this. I want her. I'm gonna have her. And the strangest thing happened is I got dissed, and I wasn't used to that, because when you have drugs and money, you practically get anything you want. And she dissed me. Finally, she gave in though, because I went to every PTA meeting, every coffee with the principal, every school event, and I was determined that I was gonna meet this woman. Finally, she gave in. We went on a date, And then the strangest thing happened. She ends up to be the daughter of a minister, and she tells me that in order if we wanted to be in a relationship and things to work, that we had to have God in our life. So she took me to church, and I heard a story of the actually the greatest love story ever told was of how God died for us, no matter what we did, no matter who we were, and He forgave us for everything. And I'd never experienced that type of forgiveness, that type of love,
Right.
and it changed my life.
Wow. Okay, cool. So, being somebody who came from that background, and having someone invite you to church, um, what was that like, first of all? And did you like immediately receive that, or how did that
So
work out?
I wasn't too fond of going to church. Um, I thought it was all a scam. I didn't believe in it. I even though my mom and my grandma who raised me believed in church, I
Mhm.
had lived a life where I saw nothing good, and I felt God didn't exist. And when you go to the church for the first time, they always want to save the tattooed guy, the
Right.
heavily tattooed guy, put you in the front of the church. And I
Right.
laugh and I tell people, you can't go to sleep in the front of the church. You can't answer your phone. You can only go to the bathroom a few times before they think you have serious bladder issues.
Right.
And when I heard that message, the message of forgiveness, of grace, of second chances,
Right.
uh, it was something I've never heard before in my life. Because
Right.
in my world, it was all a take, actually kill or be killed.
Right.
You either you take or they take from you, and never heard that message before that you could be forgiven, you can live a different life, you can be a different person, and you can be a person renewed. And I'm not one to throw religion down everyone's throats. I'm not one to say if you don't believe in God, um, you're going straight to hell. My thing is, it worked for me. It
Right.
changed my life, and I was just I had a new way of thinking. My heart
Right.
became from black to renewed with love.
Right.
And I decided I was going to quit drugs. I was going to stop hanging out with the people I hung out with. I was going to stop being this person I was before, because I wanted to be a new person, a family man, a man filled with love, a man that could actually be a good father, something I had never known what a good father was. I was determined I was going to be a different person, and and just kept going to church, kept learning, uh, and changed my life. And one day, a small movie production, local movie production, asked me to be a fight choreographer
Oh wow.
because I had experience boxing and martial arts, and it went from there. They saw the way I looked. They
Right.
saw that I can change my voice and be mean,
Right.
and
Right.
it went from there. And I started getting bigger and bigger roles, acting with big time actors.
Mm.
Now I'm a SAG actor, a union actor. I've been in 160 movies and TV
Wow.
shows.
Wow.
Um, I've acted with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and I'm not just a background actor. I'm not just a supporting actor. I'm
Right.
either the lead villain or the lead the lead actor in these movies.
Right. So that once you started making that change, and God came in and changed your life, um, how did you start seeing your life change?
Uh, First of all, I didn't want to hurt people anymore.
Right.
Um, I didn't want to living day to day. No, chasing that drug, chasing that high is not a fun life.
Right.
Um, I robbed from my own family. I hurt people that I loved, and I found out that getting off drugs, not living that life, I could love again. I could be that good father. I could be a giver instead of a taker, which is much more fulfilling than being a taker. and I'm just, I wake up every day more happy than I've ever been, because I have people now that actually love me. I have people that I love, and that everything I do is for them now instead of just for myself. Um, it's a feeling like no other, and I wouldn't give it up for the world now.
Right.
I'll never go back to the old me, because the old me is dead, and the
Right.
new me I like a lot, and I think other people do too.
So, um, growing up in that, and finally be able to make that, that change in your life. Do you, when you go look back on it now, can you like pinpoint moments of your life you like, I know God had His hand on me during that time, keeping me and protecting me.
Everything's for a reason, and
Right.
a lot of people feel sorry for parts of their life or for a majority of their life. But the way I look at it is, if you don't go through certain things, if you
Right.
don't live a certain way at one time, you never grow from it. You never
Right.
learn from it. And I can say that all my trials, tribulations, and the way I live, it helps me now to reach people who came from the same background as me, the same
Right.
life as me. I can go and speak um, in prisons. I can go speak,
Right.
for at-risk youth, drug addiction facilities, and people relate to me, and people see me that I've changed, and it gives them that faith and that hope
Right.
that they can change as well. If I was such a bad heroin addict, um, there's hope that you can change and you can give up drugs. If
Right.
I was someone that hurt people and enjoyed it, and I can change, that
Right.
means they can change, because the world isn't all cookies and
Right.
teacups and nice things.
Right.
The world's filled with evil people, but but there's hope that these evil people and these people with dark hearts can change. And like I said, I don't push God on anybody.
Right.
For me,
Right.
that was what turned me. That's what helped me, and that's what became what helped me to become the man I am today.
Right.
And um and I go around, I speak on this. I speak that you can come from a horrible circumstance, you can come from poverty, you can come from a broken home, and you can succeed. um, I've been in 160 movies and TV shows. I'm a
Right.
pro wrestler. I wrestle all over the world on pay-per-views. um, I speak all over the world.
Right.
I do multiple movies. I hang out with celebrities,
Right.
and I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't change my life first.
Right. So, um, do you remember the moment in your life where you found your purpose and your passion?
As soon as I changed my ways and changed my life,
Hmm.
um, I knew that I wanted to help others. I
Right.
knew that I wanted to, more importantly than acting and fame and money, I
Right.
wanted to help people like myself, people that society has given up on, people that society thinks has no way of ever changing. They've given up on them. I wanted to prove that even the worst of the worst can change. I wanted to prove that God's a mighty God. He's an awesome God, and once He takes a hold of your heart, once He takes a hold, and once you trust in Him that He has everything, your life will change, and it won't change for the worse. It's going to change for the better, because what I didn't realize is that that father I was seeking all along was right beside me all the time. That driver that as I was driving, all I had to say was take the wheel, and it was him. He was right there along, and and I didn't need the father that I sought so much to get his respect and his love. I had the love of the heavenly Father, most importantly.
So, yeah, that's, I think that's one of the things that a lot of people who grew up without their father, that or have been trying to get their father's approval. Um, you hear people tell that, talk about. how, once they uh, find a relationship with God, they've realized that that's kind of what was missing in their life.
Yeah.
So then let's talk about, so you had that encounter with God. You had the encounter with God. God changed your life.
Hmm.
So he completely turned you around.
Yeah.
You completely turned your life around.
Yep.
And then when did you figure, or you start finding out what your passion was, what your purpose in life was at that point?
So basically, like I said, I just wanted to help people, and I
Right.
started off in the ministry. But then, as I got involved with movies and acting,
Mhm.
I found out that that was a whole bigger door that could
Right.
open my testimony and my life story up to a bigger audience.
Right.
Um, because I had fans and I had people who followed me, and then I started doing it's strange. I was contacted to do a faith-based movie called John Light, which
Mhm.
is similar to my life story about a prisoner who finds God, and that movie just reached all over the place.
Wow.
It became so popular; it was like number one, I think, on PureFlix for a while,
Oh,
and
wow.
and they play it in almost all the prisons around the United States. And
Wow.
that movie, I played the main character, John Light, and that movie just blew up and got me noticed, and I have people now. That movie's like 3 years old, and people all around the country contact me and tell me how it's relatable, how
Wow.
it reminds them of family members or themselves,
Right.
and how it's touched them, and how my movie has touched them.
Right.
I've done other faith-based movies since then, and same reaction. Um, People are tired of seeing the same um, Hallmark, Lifetime faith-based movie that's cheesy and
Right.
unrelatable, and they see my movies where I'm this heavily tattooed
Right.
ex-gangster guy and doing faith-based movies, and they can relate to it.
Right.
It's real life. It has to do with prison, drug abuse, homelessness, sex trafficking, stuff that you normally wouldn't see in a faith-based movie, but it
Mhm.
has the twist in, that God is the answer to everything.
Right.
And so many people have been touched. And then I knew that was my calling. I knew that that God put me in an opportunity to reach millions and be on a big platform. And
Wow.
a lot of people called me a hypocrite because I have a strong belief in God, but here I am doing pro wrestling now, and that I
Mhm.
was a hypocrite because I play the bad guy,
Wow.
evil guy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just another opportunity, another stage or platform
Right.
for people to first be interested in the wrestling, but then learn my story and how I've changed my life.
Right. It's kind of ironic because, you know, um, you talk about how Christian movies used to be really cheesy, and
Yeah,
now they try to make it real to life.
yeah.
And then other avenues. You're still an actor, so you still have other jobs. Um, it's just ironic they would think that you're a hypocrite because you play a certain character on you know
Well, that's the thing is like I do secular movies too.
right,
I play I sometimes in some of the movies I'm the head of the cartel or the main villain,
right,
the evil villain, and they feel he's hypocritical because they expect me just to be in faith-based movies.
yeah,
But I
that's
tell them, I'm
yeah,
sorry, we all don't work in non-secular jobs.
right,
We all aren't blessed to be just pastors or ministers or evangelists. Some of us work on non-secular jobs,
right,
and it's how you carry yourself on that job. And trust me, when I get off the set and I'm walking around the set, people know what I stand for and who I
right,
am and how I've changed my life. And it's just an act. It's how I make money. You know.
and that's the other thing too is that I think that some Christians, because it's not everybody, but
Oh yeah.
some Christians like to put God in a box.
Yeah.
And they think that to be a Christian you have to do A, B, C, D. You know what I mean? And that's unrealistic. It's
Well,
unrealistic.
that's what I tell people. We're all gift wrapped different.
Right.
Um, I can reach people that you couldn't reach.
Exactly.
You could reach people I couldn't reach, and
Right.
vice versa for everyone. We're all packaged different. We all have our own testimonies. We
Right.
all have our own stories. And back in the day, when you went to church, you had to get all dressed up.
Right.
Most church people were looked at, no, didn't have tattoos, clean cut,
Right.
and that's not the real world. The real world is it's all mixed up bunch of different people,
Right.
and God can save any of us.
Right.
God is for all of us, not
Right.
just the rich, not just the privileged. God's for the homeless man. He's for the drug addict. He's for the
Right.
convicted killer. He's for the prisoner. He's for the high class. He's for the low class. He's for white, black,
Right.
Mexican. He's for everybody. And
Right.
that's what my message is that we're all children of God. We're all forgivable. We're all redeemable. And if you invite them into your heart, trust me, you're going to change. You're going to feel better. You're going to act better. You're going
Right.
to, you know what I mean? And like I said, I in no way want to make this that you interviewed this Christian guy who was pushing God down everyone's throat. This is
Right.
what God did for me and how he saved
Right.
me.
Right.
And if I could change, anybody could change.
Right. Cool. So let me ask you this. So if you ran into a younger you, say you at 18 years old, what would you say now to yourself then?
I'd first tell them of all the stuff that you think is cool, all the stuff that you idolize, all the stuff that society puts in your face and says, "Oh, this is how you earn respect. This is how you gain respect. This is how you earn money."
Right.
Um, it's all a lie.
Right.
It's all a lie. It's all a facade, because being in prison, being in jail is not cool. Doesn't
Right.
earn you respect. Trust me, in there, it's a dog eat dog world in there.
Mm.
Nobody that that is wanting you to do bad with them is not your friend,
Right.
because trust me, I tell these to teens too, is nobody wants to do or be bad, or be on drugs, or go through alcohol binges by themselves. They always
Right.
want to pull someone down with them.
Right.
And when it comes down to it, the people that are making you do stuff like this, that are making you giving you a bad influence, convincing you to do bad is good, or to do bad things and saying it's good, these people will stab you in the back if it's between you and them.
Right.
They're always going to choose themselves. And I had 2 heart attacks in my early 30s from drugs. I
Wow.
OD'd, and I was left in an alley by my friends.
Wow.
So that tells you that if it's between them or you, they're always going to choose themselves. And you got to start thinking about doing good stuff, hanging around with good people, hanging around with people that are all about love, all about giving, all about family, because those are the people that you want to be around. You don't want to
Right.
be around people who are for themselves. And I
Right.
guess telling my old 18-year-old self, um, is stay away from these influences, these worldly influences, because they're only going to lead you down a dark and narrow path.
Right. So no, you said you had a sister too. Is she younger or older sister?
She's a year younger than me.
Younger. Did she kind of go through the same struggles as you, or?
She had her issues with hate, with
Right.
anger issues, anger management. But she didn't join gangs. She didn't do the prison time. She didn't.
Right.
But she struggled with issues of hate, rejection, and
Right.
and stuff like that. But I guess you could say she handled it a little better than me.
Yeah. And I was wondering because the two of you growing up,
Yeah.
going through the same thing, how that affected each of you.
Yeah.
Um, and like when I was younger, my dad left when I was 5. And so growing up, we spent summers with my dad, And my dad was into, into the drugs, and he was a biker, biker gang. And
My dad too.
yeah, so as I got older, probably about 15, 16, I had made it up in my mind that I didn't want anything, to be anything like him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so I started spending summers with my grandmother, and just, it wasn't later until later in life that actually, was able to fully forgive my dad, and, have an actual relationship with my dad.
Well,
So,
I've forgiven I still don't have a relationship with my father, and that's
right,
his choosing. But I've forgiven him, and you don't realize the burden, the heavy
right,
feeling being gone once you do forgive him. You know what I mean? It's a grudge you carry, and you do harm to yourself
right,
by carrying that. And once you forgive somebody, even if they haven't asked for it, it takes that burden off you.
right,
Um, you don't realize the hate when it's gone, how
right,
much healthier, how much better you feel.
right. And it's kind of like, um, that person doesn't even know it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't affect them in any way.
No, no,
But
you're
with
hurting
you,
yourself.
right, with you, when you're carrying that anger, it almost becomes a part of your identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you don't realize that, until later on. And then once you're able to forgive, then you realize that the only one that whole scenario affected was just you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, he had no clue, and
Nope.
I'm straight sure he wouldn't have cared if he knew. So,
And it feels so good to say I've forgiven. You know what I mean? I
right,
hope one day he does change. But the one good thing I can say is my mom, she passed away last year,
mm,
and I was upset about it because she was the one who raised me. I was
right,
really upset about it. My wife reminded me that my mom's prayers were answered because she had prayed day and night and daily for me to change my life. And before she passed away, she got to see her son um, become a good person, become someone who changed, someone who's speaking all over the country, someone who's
right.
in movies. So her prayers were answered, and before she passed, she was able to see that change in her son.
Wow, that's awesome. That's yeah. First of all, my condolences for losing your mom.
Yeah,
I know how tough that is.
yeah, it was COVID.
With COVID, yeah. I lost my mom to breast cancer.
Sorry
Um,
about that.
yeah, so yeah, I know how tough it is to lose, a parent like that. So, again, I'm sorry about your.
Yeah, my mom was young too. She was only 62.
Oh wow, yeah. Um, but yeah, so um, it's to me, I'm glad to hear that she was able to see the change.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
got to see the change, and I thank God for what I mean for being able to for her to see her prayers answered.
right,
And I hope that I'm a good example. I hope that my kids can grow up later and say, my dad was someone that I'm proud of,
right,
someone that worked hard, someone that hustled in life to get us all the things we wanted and needed, and he
right,
was always there. My thing is about being there for my kids, and I
right.
hope that they can in the future say that my dad did the best in his power and his abilities to do stuff for us.
Wow. And, going through that, I'm sure it makes you a better father, because
Yeah,
now you're trying to not make the mistakes that your father made.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
started to go down that path. I
right,
started to go down that path, but I'm happy that I was able to swerve,
right.
do a whole 180, and
Wow,
change my life. And now I not just I want to be an impactful figure in my kids' life. I want to be an impactful figure in everyone's life.
right,
Anyone who has no hope, anyone that has been told they're not worthy, anybody who's been told uh, you can't succeed. I want to be that guiding light that tells them you can succeed, you can be different, you can achieve your dreams no matter how old you are, no matter how broke you are, no matter how society said you can't do it, you can change. You
Right.
can turn a new leaf, and you can be someone that people can look up to.
Wow. So let's talk about some of your projects now.
All right.
So you said you were in over 160 films,
Yeah, I currently have a movie playing in theaters right now. It's been out for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's called Running the Bases.
right?
It's in theaters everywhere nationwide. I play a villain in that, and a very impactful villain.
Right.
And I'm really happy because it is wasn't expected to do much in theaters, and it's lasted, and it's doing really well. And I've also been in, like I said, that movie that's similar to my life, called
Right.
John Light, and that one's on Tubi, Amazon, all over streaming platforms, and it's spelled just like the light bulb, Light.
Okay.
John Light. Um, I just finished filming in Florida. That's where I met Chris,
Right.
Mexican Connection with Damien Chapa,
Right. Right.
from Blood In, Blood Out. I'm the main villain in that. I am the Mexican Connection, and Damien Chapa's a good guy.
Right.
And then just also finished filming a horror comedy called uh, El Chancla del Diablo, which is
Mhm.
the sandal of the devil.
Right.
It's kind of a horror comedy, slapstick comedy horror movie.
Right.
Um, I got another movie coming to theaters called The Righteous 12.
Okay.
I'm the main villain, Phoenix Hawk. They covered all my tattoos with makeup, and I play an evil baron that owns Tombstone before the
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
before Doc Holliday and the Earp brothers. I'm sorry.
Right.
Before they come to Tombstone, I own Tombstone. The Cowboys are under my control, and
Wow.
that one's coming to theaters. Um, I have a project I'm going to be filming next month, down in Arizona in Apache Junction, called Prove Your Love.
Okay.
I'm partners in a company called Burning Bulb Publishing, and we make movies and we distribute movies. So we are making that movie, and also John Light 2 is going to start
Oh, wow.
production pretty soon as well.
All right. Cool. So I think you said you did some wrestling as well.
Yeah, I'm Hollywood Ocho. Hollywood Ocho.
Well, cool, man. So if somebody wanted to find, more about you,
Yeah,
um,
you can look me up on Instagram, Ocho8mm.
okay.
On Facebook, Michael Ochotorena. That's my full last name. I go by Ocho because no one can pronounce my last name.
Right.
It's Ochotorena, Ochotorena.
Okay.
You can also Google me. I have a lot of testimonials on YouTube and Google, um, of my life story, of me
Well,
preaching, of movies. You can look me up on IMDb, and look up everything I've been involved in. Please go into IMDb because it raises my ratings.
right. Right.
So go into IMDb, check out what I've done. I have, if you go into Tubi and type in Michael Ocho, I
Right.
have a ton of movies, and I'm usually the lead villain, the lead actor in them, and
Cool.
they're all displayed right there as well. Watch them.
Cool. So what I'll do is I'll put some of the links. You go ahead and send me the links, and
Yeah,
I'll stick them in the information section of the interview. That way, people can just click on and go straight to.
and then
Uh,
also I wrestle for TLW, which is Tennessee Legacy Wrestling. I
okay.
also wrestle for Total Psychopathic Wrestling.
Well.
I'm also a sponsor, and I've been in many episodes of a Hacks Horror Show,
Okay.
and that is it's like a kind of horror hosted a show where
Right.
he hosts, Hack Tony Covington. He
Okay.
hosts and shows horror movies and stuff. I'm all in season 5. I'm the guest. I'm one of the guest hosts there. So
Okay.
please watch Hacks Horror Show. Look up Burning Bulb Publishing.
Okay.
We have a ton of movies, and of course, go watch Running the Bases.
Right. Definitely.
Hollywood Ocho says that. or he's gonna come get you.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, we're definitely going to post that one because I'm really excited to see that movie. So, and I'm actually now, that you talked about Johnny Light, I want to go back and watch Johnny Light as well. So,
John Light, yeah.
Yeah, John Light. Okay. So yeah, we
Watch that
definitely
movie. It's on Tubi. And you can't say, "Oh, I don't have the money to rent it," because Tubi's free.
right. Now you got something to do this weekend.
Yeah, watch John Light.
Right. Cool. Well,
Even
man,
the hardest bikers, the toughest criminals who watch it end up crying at the end. So
oh wow.
I'm just warning you guys.
So that's one that you're going to need a box of tissue with.
You might need a box of tissue.
All right. Cool. So
It's
you
been an
got
honor.
your
It's been a
warning.
pleasure. I want to thank Chris again for recommending us to meet up. But just meeting you and talking with you has been an honor and a pleasure. I hope I will promote your show everywhere, and I hope you do well with it. I hope you reach a lot of people, and you're an
Well,
awesome guy, man.
man, I appreciate it, and thank you, brother, again for being on the show. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this. So, thank you.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't want to come off as this guy just pushing God, but I
Right.
want people to know that the most awful person, the most evil people, and people given no hope can change and make a difference in life.
Wow. And that's your story is just so powerful too. So
Thank you.
cool.
I
All right,
couldn't do it
guys.
without my wife too, so I got to thank her too, Cece Ocho. She's also Mrs. Hollywood.
Right.
But before leaving, I cannot leave without saying she's my everything. She's one
Right.
of the main reasons, besides God, of me changing. She's the reason I can find two colored socks that match every morning, and I have clean underwear because of her. So
Wow.
thank you, Cece.
Yeah. Thank you, Cece.
The world thanks you for the clean underwear. You take care, brother.
All right, brother. All right, guys. Thank you guys for being on. For watching the show, and remember, you're uniquely designed with a purpose, and always keep moving forward. Peace.
Ocho out.